this video, I'm going to go through API ICP website and give you a tour of API SIRE course examination and all you need to know. So if you go to Google and type in API ICP, the very first site you see is Individual Certification Program from American Petroleum Institute. And if you go to certification, scroll down this window to API SIRE and find the page here. Now, this exam can be done in person or through remote proctoring. You can click on these icons and go and have more information. Basically, once you apply to API to attend this exam, it asks you to select the window, pay the fees, and it doesn't ask you, unlike other exams, for verification of your experience, because no experience is needed as a prerequisite for this exam. And they will send you an email authorization, and then by that email authorization you go to Prometric. Now if you have chosen and then within that 3 weeks window that you have already chosen, you select the date and the test center if you want to do it in person. The Prometric has over 3,000 centers across 160 countries. You can also do remote proctoring recently, so that means you can attend this exam from the comfort of your office or home, and but you should have a desktop camera so that the invigilator can verify your ID, and the same rules apply there. They do a ID check, government issued valid ID, should be Latin, and it should not be expired then, otherwise they will refuse you to continue with the exam. So always carry two. We recommend that a passport and a driving license, for example, or any other government issued photo ID. If you are doing by remote proctoring or remote exam, nobody is allowed to enter the room. You are not allowed to leave the room. You have to turn the desktop around so the invigilator can see that there is nothing on your table. And this is a closed book exam, so unlike the in-person one, that they give you a pen and pencil and a pocket calculator, you cannot use your own pen and paper. And obviously, because of the remote, they will not give you a pen and paper, and the calculator also they will not give you, so you have to use the desktop calculator in case you need to do some calculation. But for this exam, I doubt you need any calculation to do. Or if it is, then it would be very simple calculation and you can use the desktop calculator. There is a publication effectivity sheet here, and this is revised every year. It is valid only up to August 2022. There is a study guide for source inspection of rotating equipment as well, and this is free, so you can download it and study it. Around 45 to 50% of question comes from only this study guide. So how API comes to the publication effectivity is actually is a list of documents that you have to study here, and if there is any red lines here, except this warning, that means there is a revision has been changed, or a new document has been added compared to last year, or a particular document has been with a new revision has been brought at this time. So this list of documents is actually comes from what API describes as job description for source inspector rotating equipment, and based on the job description, in order to do the justice to that job description, the source inspector should know have certain knowledge and experience. And based on that, they back calculate this and they come with a list of documents that you should be aware of and you should know. This is a basic level exam. It's not a supervisory or master level, so the questions would be very basic, and they want to know if you know the basic, the vocabulary, the terms and definition, the scope, important things during actual source inspection activities. So as you can see here, you have to study 578, 610, 611, 614, 17, 18, 19, 77, 92, all about the pumps, turbines, and compressors, these documents. And then this is a very important document that if you are a rotating equipment source inspector, you should be familiar with. This is the performance acceptance test. They've got tables and all that, so depending on which grade or level you want to test, it's all there. So the actual test of most of the pumps done according to AHI 14.6 Hydraulic Institute. And then you should also know about the materials, ASME Section 2, NDT, ASME Section 5, Construction Code for Pressure Vessel, ASME Section 8, and only USC 5657, acceptance criteria, examination of steel casting, and then ASME Section 9, welding, and only these sections, QWs up to 540. You should know about NDT personal certification, and the reference is SNTC TC1A, the recommended practice for personal qualification and certification in NDT, then ASTM A703, and also you should know about MSS SP 55, which is the standard quality standard for steel casting. And you should know about the types of the surface preparation, like solvent cleaning, power tool cleaning, white metal, commercial blast, and etc. So this is the list of documents that you need to study. Now let's go and see the study guide. This is A to Z of source inspector rotating equipment manual, and it covers everything from A to Z, like definitions, abbreviations, and it comes to training, certification, management program, and then planning activities, also source inspection performance, examination methods, final acceptance, manufacturing and fabrication process, and it goes and covers all the pumps, and like centrifugal pumps, drivers, gears, steam turbines, lube oil system, reciprocating pumps, rotary type pumps, compressors, axial centrifugal compressors, and then there are some pictures here. They're very useful guide, and that you can study for free. We have also highlighted this in our publication effectivity sheet highlights and brought it in our module 3 of the exam training course. Let's go and see what fees you need to, or when you can do the exam. So as you can see here, we are already in September, so there is no exam except there is one at November 4 to 25. So if you have already registered for this exam and the application deadline was September 2, so you can't get approval or apply for this after September 2. So if you haven't applied, then you can go to, at the time of application, you go to see the 3 weeks exam windows for 2023. The first one is on March with application deadline on January 6, but you can do it right away now because this is the latest, this is the deadline. And you can even choose the July exam window, or you can choose the November exam window here. Okay, you can do it even right now. So back to certification. Again, I'm scrolling down and going through this scrolled on the wrong one. So about the qualification, you don't need any qualification. Any industry experience would do. The recertification is if you pass, you can apply for recertification 90 days before the expiry. These certificates are valid for 3 years or 90 days grace period after the expiry, subject to late application fee of $150 if you do after the expiry up to 90 days. After 90 days of grace period, you have to do the initial exam and pay the full fees all over again. And every 6 years there is a quiz that would practically you can do it online, 25 questions. You can do it within 4 hours. You can interrupt it up to 3 times, and you can attend the quiz twice, up to maximum twice. And it would practically be any latest development for the past 6 years, or so they want to know you're up to date. They are also bringing API starting from January 2022, the CPD requirement for recertification for most of their certifications. We are a CPD accredited company, and all our certificates are issued and worth more than above the minimum requirement of API regarding CPD hours that you have to go through. So the fees, if you go to fees here, again on schedule fees, this course you have to pay $415 for the initial exam. For non-API member, for API member is $315. Now, API does not give individual membership, so your company that you are working for should be an API member. So because normally not many companies are API member, you end up paying $415. For recertification, you pay $315 every 3 years. And for rescheduling, you pay $150. So if you fail, or the exam window you want to change, which is as good as failing, the 3 weeks exam window, you have to pay $150. And there is also $150 for late application when you want to renew your certificate during the 90-day grace period. For most of it, I'm just going to peruse through and see if there is anything I've not talked about. Yeah, the last thing is number of questions and hours. This exam is 3 hours 15 minutes and 110 questions. 100 questions are scored, 10 are pre-test questions and not scored, and the non-scored questions are not marked, so they're all shuffled together. So you have to answer all the 110 questions. Try to keep a steady speed with and progress accordingly. So, for example, every 1.5 hours, you should be answering around 50 to 55 questions. And I would recommend that you allow 15 to 30 minutes to review all the flagged off questions. This multi-choice paper reference material not allowed into the exam, and there is an exam tutorial before the exam starts, which practically tells you how the buttons and icons work. So before you start the exam, there is this tutorial that you have to accept non-disclosure agreement, which means it is illegal to share the question that you see in this exam with others. And you can see the number of questions here, that which question you are attempting. You can see the remaining time here on the top, and you can see your progress here as you go along, and you should be able to see your name here, the candidate name. And using the mouse the same way as you use, it's the same thing. And if you want to flag off a question, or you can click on that and flag it off, and then you can use the next button. If it's a long question, more than a page long, so it says it requires scrolling, so you have to scroll down in order to answer the question. And the time remaining we talk about, and there is a flag off button here that you can flag off, and then so that at the end you can review all the flagged off questions. So anything you are not absolutely sure, you can flag off. If you click on a choose an answer and click on it, left click, so it changes color, so it shows that's the question you have chosen. If you click again, you practically unchoose it, or you can click another one. It would be only one of these questions would be correct. There wouldn't be like both A and B, or all of the above, or none of the above. Yeah, it would be a definite question answer to each question that you have to choose, and always API asks you to choose the best answer. Some question may be right, but some other question may be more right. So there is a calculator with the icon here, and if you click on this, you see the calculator if you need any calculation, and you can put the mouse on the boards and keep dragging, and then it would highlight this if you wish to zoom in. And you can also right click on a answer that you think is absolutely right, so you would strike them off, so you can zoom in on the possible right answers. At the end you can see the review, section review, and you can filter it by unattempted question, attempted question, and flagged off question. And you can see that the flagged off has a flag on it, and so this is flagged off and not attempted, and this is not flagged off but not answered also. So you can filter it and see all the flagged off question, answer all the question because there is no negative marking. There is a caption below each question that you can leave a comment if you want to challenge a question, but remember that this is coming off your time. At the end there is a final section. You see that there is it says finish section. So if you click on this, it will ask you if you would like to finish this section, and if you click once again, that would be the end of the exam, or when you run out of time. So the minute you start the exam, the time start clicking here until it reaches 0, and then automatically you run out of time and you can't continue anymore, and that would be the end of the exam. After the exam, you shall receive an email that tell you it's a preliminary pass or preliminary fail, or whether it is marginal. And marginal is too close to call because API uses scaling so that the level of difficulty is standardized across all the questions, all the exams and windows. But roughly you need to answer 70% of the question correctly, of the scored question. So the reason they use this pretest is that they keep always revising their question data bank, the API, as and when new documents is added to publication effectivity sheet or revision are changed. And so they're checking that you're up to date with the latest revision. And so a subject matter design new question, and it is checked by 2 other subject matter experts, and they want to know whether the question is written clearly and whether this is something that an API source inspector should know. After that, this will be marked as non-scored question. It goes to question data bank, and during the exam they get a statistic of how many people answered it correctly. Is it too easy? Is it too difficult? Or has it been challenged by candidates because it wasn't clear? And then once it passed the second test, it will be grouped as a scored question. And hence, that's why you have this 10 pretest questions. These are experimental questions. You can apply here, click this button, go and apply for the exam. Okay, so first you need to create a free account, upload your credentials, and pay the fees, and then and so forth. This is a free account unless you try to attend the exam. So this is all I think I can say for API SIRE Source Inspector rotating equipment. You can click here about remote testing. There is a few tutorials from Prometric. Prometric actually is subcontracted by API to do the exam. There is a statistic here. This is very interesting to see how many people have passed. Normally around 50% pass rate. So if you have any question, please come to our website and try our free quiz or study our first and second module for free. We are a CPT accredited and API-U approved training provider, and we provide this course, API SIRE full course, which is 40 CPT credit hours worth. So a certificate of achievement for 40 CPT credit hours will be awarded if you attend this course. And it has 8 hours of video, 151 lectures, 1,000 questions, 2,000 cue cards. And if for any reason you failed or you couldn't attend the exam, we renew it for another 4 months. You should have access 120 days, 24/7 course access plus online support. And we have 3 sections for technical query, general query, access, and IT, where we try to answer any of your query within minutes during working hours. Thank you for listening, and good luck.